Hello everyone. I've been getting a lot of questions in regards to my Recoup Minion build, particularly some of the changes I've made since my last video. The primary question I've been getting is why I've been using Plague Harvesters instead of Skeletal Reapers, so I think I'll lead with that. So with Plague Harvesters, I feel like they perform very well at higher investments, particularly with mapping. They are very aggressive, they have flight and a built-in leap slam, as well as a inherent life leech on the unit. This makes them very strong for this build, especially because it makes their survivability a lot easier to maintain without high investments in your resistances or minion life. For the damage part, only those embrace is not necessary. I know it's prohibitively expensive for a lot of people. Instead, you can use something like Rapid Attacks 3 or Heft, and then use Armor Break on your wolves instead of Feeding Frenzy. I would not recommend using Plague Harvesters until at least level 35 of the gem. The reason for this being that although they perform very well at higher investments, they do require that higher investment because they do less damage than most of the other units you can lead with. Once you are able to get them online, you can move your tech rods onto your wolf pack, and then with wolf pack they can operate as a sub DPS, and you would just run muster, rage 3, and feeding frenzy while still maintaining Ramiro's acquittal for your own damage reduction as well as recoup. The rest of your units are still the same. You still run clerics, storm mages. If you have the extra space, you can run a brute. I just run full stun on the brute. The primary use of brutes are just going to be for shatter and roar for the intimidate. As you can see, it gives increased damage as well as reduced damage. For storm mages, I would actually recommend investing in trying to get a +1 level 20 jewel for them. And the reason why you want to do this is that if you look at their arc, their shock chance is actually pretty low, even with the amount of investment I put in them with all these damage supports as well as shock support. So if you look, even when I use my offering, they only have a shock chance of 28%, and that's with all of this investment. So you do want to get as high as possible to make sure they're actually getting shocks on the bosses. For Blasphemy, you can either use Despair or Temp Chains. It's up to you. I use at Zeri's Communion now. I think it helps a lot to free up some spirit for the build. Unfortunately, if you want to use Corpse Exfoliate, which I think is very valuable for the build, you can't invest too much with like Heightened Curse or putting Upwelling on here to reduce the spirit costs, because you'll just kill yourself. Like, you end up with like 400 life. If you lose all your mana, which, like, if you get poisoned or degen and stuff, you can lose all your mana, you'll just straight up die. So that's not really an option for me. It is a good justification to just give up Rupture the Soul and go for Eternal Life instead. That's a very good option. And then you end up using Heightened Curse on here as well as Upwelling, and just completely giving up on HP and Mana Recoup as a avenue to free up a lot of spirit, which is a good option. But like I said, for mapping especially, I think Rupture the Soul feels very good, and I don't want to give up on that. For the gear itself, this kind of aligns up with the tree, so I'll explain a lot of these choices. You'll see here that I have a Megalomaniac for Relentless Fallen. The reason for this being that if you have this anointed, you don't have to take any of this. This is 6 nodes freed up that allows you to go this way. As you get into higher investments, you want to start pushing movement speed, especially just for more comfortable mapping. You end up with an extra 3% here, you get 3% here, and obviously you get the 3% from Relentless Fallen. You can also get a 5% increased movement speed corrupt. The most ideal is either to get a 2-socket with this, which is what I was trying to do. I couldn't get it, but 5% on all of these, and then 2-socket, or you can get 5% and then overcorrupt this to 18%. That is also something that would be very strong to just get even more movement speed on this build. For the rest of the build, it's pretty simple. You just grab the same things as before, all these ES nodes, all these damage nodes you can get, all this recoup speed nodes, these, as well as all of the recoup speed nodes here, and then grabbing these. I actually gave up a bit of the recoup to pursue more damage and area effect as an avenue. I can get away with this because I have a ton of recoup already invested from my gear and from the tree. But you don't, if you need more recoup, just take these instead, and you don't really need to go this way. You can just drop all 5 of these, particularly if you haven't been able to get this yet. For the rest of the build, some upgrades that I've done. Getting Cadigan's Epiphany is very strong on your gloves. It gives up your jewel socket here, but in return you get a socket that you can use a socketable jewel instead of like runes. This is really strong, obviously. For the rest, it's pretty much the same. You know, you just use a Sanctum either with damage recoup for mana or just life, especially if you decide to give up on this and go for eternal life. Life is obviously better in that case. I still think Venter's Gamble stands as like one of the best options for your ring, just to get rarity, and then all your resistances solved, as well as some spirit. For your helmets, the next upgrade I'm looking for, even if you get an exceptional helmet, this would allow you to both slot in Idol of Ralakesh as well as get an anointment on your helmet. I can't do that with this helmet. That's why you need a exceptional, because with a corrupted helmet you can't get anoints. With an exceptional you can get that. Obviously it's a bit costly for both the exceptional base as well as for the socketable to get that, but once you do so, you can either go for another jewel socket anoint, or what I'm probably going to pursue is getting pliable flesh. I really value this recoup speed as well as the extra recoup here. And then for your amulet, this was a costly craft. I'm not going to pretend it's not, but this is something that is very deterministic, particularly among some of the new crafting bases that have less suffixes. This actually makes this very easy. All you have to do is fracture your spirit and then chaos on minion skills, and from there you just get a you use a omen to slam an exalt on your prefix, and then you use crystallization omen to and a hysteria essence to knock that prefix off, and then get tier 2 recoup as life guaranteed. And then from there all you have to do is catalyzing omen on an exalt slam to get a tier 1 ES on either of these. If you miss, you just Sinistral annul it off, try again, and then once you get one, you can desecrate the other. I was pretty lucky, I got it pretty quickly when I crafted it. It can be costly, obviously, but it's an entirely deterministic craft. And then for your belt, this is actually pretty easy to make. All you have to do is get +2 minion skills. You either have a freed up suffix, or you can fracture your minion skills, or you could just YOLO slam the desecrate if you're a fucking baller. And if you desecrate using this fossil here in the Abyssal's Altered Collarbone, this lets you get otherworldly modifiers, including minion melee splash, or the extra projectiles, if you want to go the route with Volguards, with Zealots, with Skeletal Archers, etc. And that's the upgrades for the build. I'll go ahead and do a map just to show the higher investment in practice. And I'll see you at the end of the video.
I've never stuck a show, yet
Alright, that's the gist of the general performance in maps. And as you can see, it's very tanky. I think the clear is pretty good. I'm already level 98, just like kind of that general playstyle, just kind of brainlessly running around the map, making sure I don't die to degen, and then you just kind of don't die and clear everything very quickly. Appreciate you watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.